Cool, bro. I am Caleb Jones, and this is Alpha Male 2.0. Freedom, focused lifestyle design for men. Location-independent income through your own location-independent business that you own and control, setting you free from your horrible 9-to-5 job and allowing you to be able to escape Western collapse. And dating multiple attractive women, long-term, all at the same time, with no lying, cheating, or drama. This is the freest lifestyle available to the modern day man in the collapsing era in which we live. Today, we have a very fun topic. This will be fun for you guys. This will be fun for me. And you already know the three types of men. We'll talk about those: beta male, alpha male 1.0, alpha male 2.0. We're going to discuss how these three types of men, what happens when they date the three types of women, which are, if you didn't know, submissive, independent, and dominant. We'll cover all that in great detail. This will be a lot of fun. Let me give you a quick bonus topic really fast, is because I've had some questions about this lately, is the 5 love languages. What the hell is that? Some of you have probably heard of this. The 5 love languages, I've talked about this in my blogs, is one of the few societal programming, normal societal advice for relationships that actually does work. And the way it works is there's 5 possible love languages. And of those 5, every woman in your life has one of those 5 that she really, really likes. That will, when you do them, it will make her like you more. And conversely, you have one of these things at the top 5, one of these things you like the best, the way you like to feel affection from a woman, the way she likes to feel affection from a man. And everyone is different. Everyone has a different one they like. Here are the 5, listed in no particular order. Physical touch, that's non-sexual touching, okay? Cuddling, things like that. Time, spending quality time with someone. Words, saying nice things to someone, words of encouragement, compliments, I love you, things like that. Acts of service, so doing things, little favors and things for people without being asked. So an example would be a husband who makes his wife coffee in the morning because she likes coffee and it's ready for her. And she's like, oh, acts of service, that's what we're for. What am I forgetting? Gifts, buying gifts, giving gifts, buying and receiving gifts, okay? One of those 5 things you really like. And you already know what it is, okay? For me, this is just me now, probably not you. Everyone is different. For me, it's physical touch. If I care for a woman romantically, I'm touching the shit out of her. This is not sexual touching. Well, that's a component too. So I'm touching the shit out of Pink Firefly. Her legs, her hips, her hair, her face. I cuddle. I grab her. I'm really big on physical touch with a woman I'm emotionally attracted to. I am not a hugger. I don't like to hug people other than that. Just a woman I'm attracted to. But you may be different. Some guys like touch. Some guys like time. Some guys like words, women saying things to them. Some guys like women who do things for them. So there's something you like of those 5. Now here's the technique. What you do is any woman you give a shit about, so MLTR, OLTR, you ask her, are those 5 things, which one do you like the best? And she will immediately tell you, because everyone knows their number 1. You have a favorite, you have a second favorite, the other 3 don't matter. So for example, my hierarchy is touch is my number 1, time is my number 2. The other 3 I don't care about. If you buy me a gift, I'm like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. If you say, oh, Caleb, you're so wonderful, I love you so much, you're such a great guy, I don't care. I'm not going to put I don't care about this, I don't care about words. This is me now. What's the third one? If you do something for me, I really don't care. Don't care. That doesn't resonate with me at all. So that's me. So when I asked Pink Firefly this 10 plus years ago, I said, of these 5 things, which one? And when you ask a woman, she will tell you before the question's even over. They'll say, out of these 5 things, list 5 things, which one do you like the best? And she'll say, boom, she'll tell you. This is very valuable information for you. Pink Firefly said time. Boom. So out of these 5 things, which one do you like the time? Time. That is her number 1. Spending time with a man she likes. Even if you're just fucking watching TV, which I don't do, but it doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you're physically with her, spending time with her, that is her big number 1 thing that really makes her feel loved and makes her like you more. I just talked to someone in my life a few months ago, another woman, and I gave her the 5 things. Hey, out of these 5 things, which one, I listed all 5. I said, which one do you like the best? And she's like, words. I need a man to tell me that I'm beautiful, that I'm nice, that he loves me, that I'm special. Oh my God. And I kind of, when she said that, I know her very well, I went, oh yeah, that does make sense for her. Yes. So that's the technique, is you list the 5 things. First of all, be aware of what your thing is. Be aware of that. That helps. But more importantly, ask the woman in your life. Now with FBs, this doesn't matter. So you don't need to worry about this with FBs, but MLTRs and OLTRs, yeah. I mean, FBs can matter if there's a long-term FB. That's fine, I guess. Usually FBs will not be long-term, but so that's the technique. It will help you a lot. So whatever she says, you do it. And sometimes it's difficult. Sometimes she'll say touch and you hate touch. You're like, oh man. So you got to kind of make yourself do it. Or in my case, she'll say time, which I like. That's my number 2. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm really busy. Shit, how do I make this work? And so I make that work in my life. So you just make it work. And you will see the woman just become putty in your hands, because unlike every other man she's dated, you will be doing the thing that turns her on the most. It's not sexually, it's emotionally. Okay. All right, so answer a few of your questions, and then we'll get to the topic. Our big topic today of the 3 different types of men dating the 3 different types of women. You tell OLTR you won't be with them all the time, you work, etc. Correct. I want this also. Have women tested you on this boundary? Do you find this boundary you need to train women into accepting? You don't have that problem because you have already tested that boundary when she was an MLTR before you upgraded her to OLTR. So you already know, and she already knows your model before you make her your OLTR. That's the kind of question I get from guys who assume they can just make a girl their OLTR. No. OLTR means she's been your MLTR for at least 6 months. That is a bare minimum. A year or 2 is better. I made Pink Firefly wait fucking forever, okay? And then she already knows the model. I'm busy. I can't spend all this time with you. Can't do this. And she, by the time you make her your OLTR, she's accustomed to this model. And if she says, and she whines and moans, you never make her your OLTR. Is it a bad idea if I go on a newer MLTR's birthday? Yes, that is a terrible idea. Don't do it. No family will be there, mainly a bunch of friends. No, it is a terrible idea, especially as a new MLTR. No, do not do it. Can I put my high-end MLTR of many years on my Costco membership? It'd be primary, just my account, just add her and she'd pay me half. It's a gray area. It's not a great idea. I'm not going to say hell no, like I said the other guy, but it's not a good idea. That's OLTR-ish stuff. I'm sorry. So no, I wouldn't do it. Building a morning routine is paramount. I agree. What is a good speed? Add 1 step a week. That's about right. 1 step a week. Yes. Maybe 1 step every 2 weeks. Go slow. Establishing new habits is very difficult. And we try to speed this shit up. Maybe even, 1 new thing every 3 weeks. Go slow. There's no rush. How do you develop outline independence? Are you thinking outcome independence when it comes to being out in public and hitting on girls and not caring what people think or say? With that specific scenario, it's practice. If you don't have it, practice. I make a goofball of myself in public because I've been doing it for 30 years. I will dance in public and I'll have guys say, hey man, nice moves. Like, thanks man. Yeah. And I'm a white guy, so I dance horribly. Yeah, what's up? Yeah. I don't care. I embarrass women I'm with all the time. So practice. The snake diet guy, Cole Robinson, he did this. And Faustino, the guy who was the kid on Married with Children, he did this. He has videos of him doing this. To really get rid of this, you take a big giant rubber dick, a rubber dildo, or like a rubber cock, and you duct tape it to your forehead, and you walk around and hit on girls. Oh my God, do it. It worked. It'll work. It'll make you outcome independent real quick. Yeah, I would do that. No problem. I can do it. I've said this before. I would walk around other than the sun. If the sun wasn't out shining, I don't want to get sunburned. I would walk around naked. And I'm chubby. I'm overweight. I would walk around naked around the city if it were legal. I don't care. I just don't care. So, but again, I have practice. OpenAI just rolled out advanced voice mode. Basically, you talk to like a human, almost no latency, any thoughts. I've been waiting for that. I've been wanting that. This is one of those AI things I want. I can't wait. That's awesome. Does it work? Is it at ChatGPT? Where is it? I'd love to do it. No, I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting and waiting. I knew it'd be coming soon. Great. How long should I do day game to start seeing results? Not a day game expert. I can't answer that question. I don't know. A few weeks. How do you sleep with women running the Alpha 2.0 dating model when living at home? I've answered this many times. I have a car. What do you say? Hey, let me go to your place. Let's hang out in my car. You sit down and brainstorm all the lists of logistical places you can have sex. A lot of guys live at home. As I've said many times, I was a teenager in the 80s. And back in the 80s, teenagers actually had a lot of sex with other teenagers. And they all lived at home. They all made it work. So this is not an excuse. So I'm glad you're asking the question, not making an excuse. In the car. I've had sex in the car. If you can't do it in your house, her place. Friends' places. How did teenagers in the 80s fuck all these people? How did they do it if they couldn't fuck them at their homes? What did they do? Same thing. I've done this outside, unless it's wintertime. Outside, I've had a lot of sex outside. Outside in the park, not right in the park in front of all the little kids. But you go on these trails and stuff. Works. You have so many options. Sit down and write out a whole bunch of options based on where you live, the weather, your logistics, and just do those things and suggest those things. That's it. Are you still pursuing Armenian citizenship? How's the process? How far in the process are you? I have been advised by my attorneys and other people, my advisors, to stop talking about my citizenships. So I can't talk about this publicly anymore. I'm sorry. If you want details, sign up for my immersion program and I'll tell you anything you want. But I can't talk about it. I'm sorry. Can't talk about it. The answer is, you probably know what the answer is. Am I still pursuing Armenia? You probably know what the answer is, but I can't give any details of that. I'm sorry. Okay, one or two more questions. We'll get to our topic. You know what? No, I'm gonna get to the topic now. All right. So here's today's topic. There are three types of men: alpha male 1.0, alpha male 2.0, and beta male. Right? Right. There are also, as I've talked about in great detail in my books and my blogs for many years, three types of women. There are submissives, dominants, and independents. Okay? So today we're going to discuss what happens when the three types of men date the three types of women. You get 9 possible combinations. We're talking about all 9 combinations. We're also going to go detail about the three types of men a little bit because I've talked about it a lot, and more detail about the three types of women. It's very important to understand what type of man you are. You better be alpha male 2.0 or be working toward it if you want to be long-term happy. If you don't care about happiness, do whatever you want, but then I don't know why you're here. And it's really important to understand the three types of women because they are very, very different in terms of dating them, having sex with them, having long-term relationships with them. Very different dating a submissive than dating an independent. Very independent than dating a dominant. Very different experience. Okay? So you need to understand all these things. And I'll get to your questions at the end. All right. So I have slides here. Those who watch the video, if you're listening to the podcast, don't worry, I'll explain it verbally. As you all know, or if you didn't know, this is a podcast. So if you prefer the audio version of this podcast, you go to alphamale20.com/podcast. I'm on the top 10 podcast platforms. All right. So first, very quickly, because I've covered this 10,000 times already, and a lot of you, this is review, I'm going to briefly cover the three types of men, and there are pictures of them. There they are. So here are the three types of men. Excuse me. Quick summary for a quick review for those of you who are unfamiliar with this or new to this content. First, we have the beta male. The beta male is the vast majority of men in the modern era. It is somewhere around 80%-ish of men today. It used to be about 60%. Now it's 80%. Soon it'll be 85%. Down the road, it'll be 90% plus. More and more men become betas as the Western world continues to collapse, as men become more pussified and feminine and drug addicted and, MGTOW and black pilled and all that bullshit. As women become stronger and more confident as a response to this, as civilization, Western civilization becomes more left-wing every year, even if you elect Trump, it still happened when Trump was president. As the economics of the world continue to get worse, the Western world in particular, as men, have reducing testosterone from plastics and various other environmental factors, many, many reasons for this, but beta male is now the norm, cultural norm. So the vast majority of men in the world, Western world, or even not in the Western world, but it's less bad outside the Western world. A lot less beta males here in Paraguay. When I live in Dubai, a lot less beta males there, but it's still most guys. These are pussies. Now, it's various levels of pussy. Some beta males are extremely beta pussies. Some are just kind of pussies. But these are pussies. These are submissive men. These are men who lack confidence. They are not confident themselves. They worry a lot. They freak out a lot. They get nervous a lot. They emote a lot. They tend to be less masculine and a little more feminine. But at least if they're not feminine, they're just, beta males. They are extremely outcome dependent. They are terrified and they want to make sure everything works the way they want it to work. And if they don't, they get mad, they get scared, they get nervous. Oh my God, who's going to win the next election? Oh my God, will she like me if I go on this first date? I hope she doesn't like me. I don't want to screw this up. Oh my God. They're constantly worried about outcomes. So they are not confident and they are not outcome independent. They're basically fucked. And when the collapse occurs in earnest, these the men are going to get crushed. They're already getting crushed now. That's why you have movements like MGTOW, Black Pill, some components of Red Pill saying, oh, I'm not going to have sex with girls. I'm not going to play women's game. This is, uber beta. So that's the beta male. Okay. Submissive. Other factor, beta males are submissive. They allow other people to set the agenda and take charge. If you are a beta male, you follow the orders of your girlfriend and or your wife and or your boss and or your culture and or your religion. You just follow these instructions because you're a beta. Other people outside of you or other systems outside of you exert control over you, and because you're submissive, you say, yes, master, and you do them. Now, you might bitch and moan about it. Beta males bitch and moan all the time. Beta males with dominant girlfriends bitch and moan about it all the time, but they never leave these women because they need a mommy. Okay? All right. Alpha male 1.0. That's the middle guy here. These two guys here are alpha male 1.0s. Alpha male 1.0 is basically almost the polar opposite of the beta male. The alpha male 1.0 is the typical alpha male you would imagine when you think of the term alpha male. Andrew Tate, perfect example of the alpha male 1.0. Jordan Peterson is an alpha male 1.0. These are alpha males who are successful, they're masculine, and they're confident, unlike beta males. Let me talk about that in a second. Lost my train of thought. They're successful. They are often physically fit, although they don't have to be. You can have fat alpha male 1.0s. There's a lot of those in politics. Who are some fat alpha male 1.0s? Rush Limbaugh, Cenk Uygur, Alex Jones. There's a bunch of them. So you don't have to be physically, you don't have to have a ripped six-pack as to be an alpha male 1.0. There are fat alpha male 1.0s, but they're still alphas. A lot of them in business world too. Fat, chubby alpha male 1.0s. These are men who are very strong. They're very confident. Unlike beta males, they take charge and they are in charge. So they don't let people tell them what to do. They tell people what to do. Now, the problem with alpha male 1.0s is, and you see this with people like Jordan Peterson, Andrew Tate, and 10,000 other alpha male 1.0s we could all name, is that they're extremely outcome dependent. So they are confident, unlike the beta male, very confident. Donald Trump, alpha male 1.0, extremely confident, but they're outcome dependent. It is very, 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 very important to them that everyone in their lives and everyone in the world do exactly what they say. And if they don't do, these people don't do what the alpha male 1.0 says, they get fucking mad. They feel angry. They feel disrespected. They are really big on old school tradcon societal programming about I'm the man and you're the woman and I'm the this and you're the that. And if that model isn't followed, they get fucking pissed. So, unlike the beta male, the alpha male 1.0 is happy a lot and lives a good life. However, he's also mad regularly. He's regularly angry, pissed off all the time. Not constantly. He's happy a lot, angry a lot. Happy, angry, happy, angry, happy, angry. It's very exhausting to be an alpha male 1.0. It's a lot of work. So that's the alpha male 1.0. Okay? Needs to be in charge, is in charge, pissed off if people don't do what they're fucking told. All right? Now, of course, we come to the Alpha Male 2.0, which is what this channel and podcast, books, my entire online brand is all about. Even Unchained CEO is a subset of Alpha Male 2.0. Alpha Male 2.0 is, we are the happy alphas. The Alpha Male 2.0 is exactly the same as the Alpha Male 1.0 with one difference. And this is really the only core difference. And this one difference creates all the differences in his lifestyle. The only difference is that he is outcome independent. instead of outcome dependent like the alpha male 1.0. So you take the alpha male 1.0 and you take his outcome dependence about what other people do, whatever, you remove that from his personality. And now he's a total alpha who doesn't give a fuck what anyone does. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what women do. He doesn't care what his country does. He doesn't care what his mom does. He doesn't care what people here. He doesn't give a fuck. He's too busy fucking hot younger girls to give a shit. He's too busy building his business empire. He's too busy traveling the world and living a great life to give a shit about what any one person does. He doesn't fucking care. And if you say, don't you care about what you're willing? He's like, why would I give a shit about that? Why would I take my, and I've said this many times, take my amazing life where I'm having sex with gorgeous women. I'm traveling the world, all these wonderful places. I'm building a business empire that really turns me on. I really enjoy. Why would I put all that on hold because this one girl isn't respecting my authority and give her a big lecture? Why would I do that? That's stupid. To the alpha male 2.0. The alpha male 1.0 is like, yeah, that's right. Because the alpha male 1.0 doesn't want it, happiness is not his priority. The alpha male 2.0s, we're the happy alphas. So because alpha male 2.0s are outcome dependent, we're happy. We don't give a shit. So we're happy. So we're the happy alphas. Okay? That's why we don't, can't talk. That's why the alpha male 2.0 doesn't do things like monogamy. Monogamy means you have to yell and lecture and set rules and then argue when you're like, where were you? And let me see your phone. And we don't want to deal with that stuff. So the alpha male 2.0 is non-monogamous. Alpha male 2.0 is an alpha male has to be in charge of ourselves, not other people. So alpha male 2.0s don't have jobs. You can't have a job being alpha male 2.0 because your boss is telling you what to do. That's for beta males and some alpha male 1.0s. Can't have a job. We have our own businesses. We're location dependent. So no one country can tell us what to do. We do whatever the fuck we want. The alpha male 2.0 can wake up every morning and do literally whatever he wants, whenever he wants, with whomever he likes, consenting legal adults, of course, without having to check in with anyone. You have to check in with a wife or girlfriend or boss. Can I do this? That's beta male shit. Okay? So that is the overview of the 3 types of men, which most of you should already know unless you're new to this material. All right, now let's shift gears here. Let's talk about the 3 types of women. Very, very different. Let's spend a little more time on this. Some of you are a little familiar with this. Most of you are not. 3 types of women: submissives, dominance, and independence. When I say submissive and dominant and even independent, I am not talking about sex, because what people start thinking of is, I'm a dom. Like you go online to like OkCupid and the girl says, I'm a dom looking for a sub, or I'm a sub looking for a dom. We're not talking about sex. This is complete. This is not about sex. This is about personality type and lifestyle. So submissive woman does not mean necessarily she's submissive during sex. Sex is a whole different thing. We can talk about that in Q&A if you'd like. We're talking about her personality type, her agenda, and the way she lives. Submissive, dominant, or independent. All 3. Next thing. One type is not better or worse than the other type. Because people say, men will say, oh, submissives are the best and independents and dominants suck. You don't want those. Not correct. There are big downsides to submissive women. I'm going to discuss in a minute. There are big advantages and upsides to dominant women. What? Yes, I'll discuss it in a minute. There are big upsides to independent women, and there are big downsides to dating an independent woman. I'm going to cover all these things. So one is not better than the other. You will be naturally attracted as a personality type to one over the other, or 1 or 2 over the other. That's true. We'll discuss that in the next slide. But just be aware, it's not like this one bad, this one good. It's not like beta male. It's bad to be a beta male, period, end of story. Don't be a beta, okay? Beta is bad. Be an alpha male 1.0 at least, or an alpha male 2.0. Submissive, dominant, independent, it's a different story. Pros and cons to all 3, all right? Now, let's go through all 3 types. 3 types of women. Can you guys read that on the screen? If you can't read it, you may have to zoom in. But again, I will verbalize this. First type is the submissive. This is listed in no particular order. The submissive woman, this is a personality type. This doesn't mean she's overly submissive. And let me back this up a little bit. When I say submissive type of woman, I'm not saying she's a little wallflower and lets everyone walk all over her. That's not the case. Some submissives are like that. Most of them are not. So if you're dating a submissive woman, that doesn't mean you can order her around like a little robot. She'll say, yes, master. It's not how it works. I'll give more specifics in a minute. One of the traits of the submissive woman is that, one of the biggest traits actually, is that she is uncomfortable making big decisions. She does not want to make, she is terrified to make big decisions. She wants other people to make decisions for her. So if she has a serious boyfriend or husband, she will want him to make the big decisions. And then if there's a win, he takes the glory. If there's a problem, it's his fault. I didn't make that decision. They don't want agency. All these feminists talk about agency. Submissive women want agency in the micro. They do not want agency in the macro. So they love making little decisions. They tend to be more feminine. I'll get to that in a second. But they don't want to make the big decisions. They are terrified. I have a woman here in Paraguay who is like, I'll say, she had a rough day at work. I said, let's go out to eat, or let's go order food or something. What do you want to eat? Because I like everything. She's like, I don't know. And she immediately gets nervous. I can't make a decision. I once asked Pink Firefly as a submissive. And so I asked Pink Firefly many years ago, we were talking about our lives and stuff. And I said, I said, if you won $10 million, Pink Firefly, in the lottery, tax-free, what would you do with it? We're talking about these fun what ifs. And she immediately, this is very quintessential submissive behavior. She gets this scared look on her face. Like, why are you scared? This is good news. Oh, and she goes, oh, what? And she just starts, her whole body starts contorting. And she gets super nervous. She goes, oh, I don't know. I would ask you. That's a submissive, because those are some big decisions. She doesn't want to make big decisions. Submissive girls, submissive women like to make little decisions. What kind of shoes they wear, the decorations in the house, right? The type of food they order on the menu when they go to the restaurant. They don't want to pick which restaurant, but they want to pick the food they order at the restaurant. So the little decisions are all over that. They're all about little decisions. Big decisions are very scary for a submissive woman. Submissive women tend to be, not always, but they tend to be more feminine. Of the three woman types, submissives tend to be the most feminine type of woman, and when you compare the dominance or independence. So more girly behavior, girly girls. If you like girly girls, that's my thing. I'm really attracted to girly girls because that's what I like. But feminine could also mean more emotional, okay, sometimes more irrational, right? There's a double-edged sword, and you're attracted to very feminine women, and I would know. Okay, so just be aware of that. Less mature. Some submissives, not all, but some, they tend to be less mature. So if you're dealing with a woman who is a submissive 35-year-old, she's going to have a lot of behaviors of a 25-year-old. If you're dealing with a woman who's 29, she's going to have a lot of behaviors of a teenager. I'm not saying she literally acts like a little kid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, generally speaking, submissive women are 5 to 10 years younger in their personality types in terms of their maturity. And if you hate that, don't date submissive. See how I said it's not good or bad? There's pros and cons to both these things. Yeah, the advantage of submissive is that, yeah, you can set the agenda and she'll go along with your agenda. Guys say, yay! There's some disadvantages too. I don't have this in the slides here, but drama. Sometimes submissives can be more prone to drama, different kind of drama than dominance, because they go, they whine a lot, complain. So submissives, the nature of the drama from a submissive versus a dominant's going to yell and scream at you and argue with you. The submissive's going to whine and complain a lot. They're complainers, they're whiners. Again, more feminine, less mature. That means, well, why don't we? I don't like. You'll see more of that from submissives. Okay. Dominant. Okay, let's switch complete gears and go to dominant women. Dun-dun. The exact opposite of a submissive in every possible way. Dominants, unfortunately, have become a societal norm. Just like beta males are now the societal norm, at least 60% of modern day women, this number keeps growing. It's probably about 65% now, but my rough guess is 60% are dominants. So when you go on a first date with any woman, the odds are decent she's a dominant, because 60% of all women in your area are going to be dominant women. This has become a cultural norm. The strong, independent woman, the boss bitch, right? That's now the cultural norm. Now in the 80s, it was much less than 60%. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't near 60%. Now it is, and it's going to get worse and worse. I should say higher as time goes on. Dominant. The number one, or one of the number one traits of the dominant woman is, unlike the submissive and very unlike the independent, the dominant woman has a very specific agenda of exactly what she wants. Very similar to an alpha male 1.0. And similar to an alpha male 1.0, if you don't go along with that agenda, she gets fucking mad. She'll be upset. She'll be offended. She'll think you're a turd. She'll think you're a pig. She'll think you're trying to scam her or manipulate her or take advantage of her. She wants her agenda and she's going to get it. And if she doesn't get it, she's going to be fucking pissed. Really easy example. You're pitching a first date to a woman. And you say, if you follow Black Dragon dating model, Alpha Male 2.0 dating model, you say, great, let's go. How about 7 p.m. Tuesday night? Let's go to this cool bar and get a quick drink. The woman says, no, that's not a first date. What we need to do is go out to dinner. So what we should do is, hey, I know quintessential dominant, and you guys have had this experience. I've had this experience. She says, you know what? There's this really good steak place on da-da-da-da called da-da-da-da. We should go there. We should go there about 6:30. Okay. We should have dinner, have a nice dinner. And then there's a park nearby. We should go for a walk. And so she's going to lay out her first date agenda. She's a dominant. So she has in her head exactly what a first date should look like. And if you go, I don't think I want to do that. Can we just get a big, well, why not? Excuse me. No, I mean, you need to be a gentleman and you need to, and she's going to get all pissed off. Now, most beta males will say, okay, that sounds like a good idea. Dominants attract beta males and vice versa. We'll cover that in a minute. Okay. Same thing in a second date. Same thing for if you go out to dinner. Same thing for a relationship. If we're dating, if I'm dating a guy, this is how it looks. He needs to call me every day. And if he doesn't call me, then, for example, now I'm not saying dominants need to be called every day. Every dominant is different. The point is she has an agenda. If you have a boyfriend, it looks just like this. It's certainly not an open relationship. You can't fuck other women. I should be enough. How dare you? You need to respect me. Okay, you need to respect me. They're big on respect. Very similar to, sound familiar? The Alpha Male 1.0. The dominant is a loose equivalent of the Alpha Male 1.0. They're not, dominants are not alpha women. They're not alpha women. Okay, that's a different thing. All right. Let's see. What else do I want to say about dominance that I didn't put on the slide here? Some pros to the dominant. There are some good things about dominance. Best sex of all three women. Dominants are the best in bed of all three women. They are. And so the challenge is that if you date a dominant, she's going to boss you around all the time, tell you what to do, and tell you, I expect this and I expect that. That's the downside. The good side is when you fuck her, is good. I can tell you a number of stories. Like, for example, should I use this example? Yeah, it's a long time ago. I do not date married women as a policy for myself. I do not have sex with married women. I do not date married women. I don't do that. Potential problems is too high. Yes, women with boyfriends, absolutely yes, because I have a boyfriend can mean 10,000 different things. But if a woman is married to a husband she lives with full time, that actually does mean something because it's a marriage. So I don't date married women. However, I've been living this lifestyle for 17 years now. 15 plus years ago, I didn't have those rules. And so there was one or two married women I was playing with. So I was seeing this married woman and we were talking about her husband, who I knew peripherally. I didn't know him. Don't know the women's husbands. I mean, I'm getting off topic. Anyway, I knew him enough to know he was an extreme beta male. This woman was an extreme dominant. So one weird thing about dominance is that they date beta males. They get beta male boyfriends and husbands, but they don't like to admit that their husbands are beta males because it makes them look bad. He's not a beta male. He's strong. He's not. No, he's not. I run his life, but he's not a beta. So literally, I was saying, well, he's kind of a pussy. He's not. I didn't say pussy. I don't remember what I said. He's a wimp, and you set the agenda, and you wear the pants, right? And he's like, no. I said, has he ever dominated you during sex? Ever? And here's what she said. Here was her answer. It's quintessential dominant answer. Yes, he does when I tell him to. The irony was completely lost on her. So, I mean, I just smiled. She did not recognize what she was saying. He dominates me when I command him to do so, and then he does exactly the way I want. Dominant. Okay? I can tell you more stories. I can tell you a whole story about, all right, really quick, I'll tell you the story. How are we doing on time? I can tell you the story. I've told the story, I think, once or twice. Many, many years ago. This is not recent. This is back when I lived in the United States. First date with a woman, super dominant. Did we meet briefly? I think we met. I don't remember the first meet. We met briefly, like 10 minutes, just talk really quick because we both had to get to work. So the next day, I'm like, let's second date. And so she literally says, here's what she says. Come over to my apartment at 8 p.m., bring a bottle of wine. Now, first of all, dominant. She has an agenda and she told me what to do. Now, I didn't argue with her because if she wants me to come over to her apartment with a bottle of wine, she wants to have sex. So I'm like, cool. Now, normally dominants don't do this. Normally dominants say, well, for the second date, what we should do is, and they give you a list of activities. We should go karaoke and then, okay. So she was like, 8 p.m., come to my apartment. Here's my address. Bring a bottle of wine. Okay. I'm like, good. I'm getting laid tonight. So I go ahead. But I know I'm dealing with a dominant. Okay. But dominants are good in bed. So I'm cool with it. So I go over there. I get the bottle of wine on the way over. I get the cheapest, $2 chuck I can buy and go over there, knock on her door. She's there. She is, she was short. She had, kind of blonde hair. She wasn't super hot. I mean, her face was probably a 7. Her body was probably an 8. These days, I wouldn't even go there. But back then, I'm like, that's good enough. And she was nice to me. So I walk into her apartment. Small. It's a large 1-bedroom apartment. And I watch the way she moves. She moves almost like a man. Her job was a security guard at a woman's prison. I mean, this woman should have been a lesbian. I don't know why she wasn't, but she wasn't. She was hetero. But she's like, has a lower voice. And she's talking like a man. She's cute enough. Okay. So I said, this is interesting. So we go around her apartment. I notice on her walls, there are pictures of superheroes. What the fuck? There's like the Incredible Hulk and Deadpool. And this is before those movies. It's a long time ago. I'm like, well, this is fucking weird. This is a woman's apartment. I said, oh, you like the Hulk? She goes, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And she talks about the comic books, all that stuff. It's like a dude. It's like a guy. Okay. Very, very masculine. Dominants, by the way, the most masculine, or tend to be. There are lots of feminine dominants. I'm using this one woman as an example. There are many, many, many very girly looking, girly acting dominants. Don't be fooled. There's lots of pretty girly girls who are total extreme fucking dominants from hell. So anyway, we start having sex. And she goes, I have to blow you. I'm like, well, no, just lay down here. I'm going to fuck you because I'm an alpha male 2.0, but I need to be on the top. I need to be the dominant one during sex. And she's like, no, I have to blow you. Because again, dominant, this is her agenda. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to argue about a blowjob. So she starts getting down there and doing me, okay? And she's amazing. Telling you, dominance, best of bet. She's like a fucking machine. She's like a piston, just boom, 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 boom. And she's like, I'm like, whoa, okay. Why did I argue with this? So then, trying to give you not too much TMI here. So then we start having sex, and I make a lot of noise during sex. I've said this many times throughout the last 15 years. My joke is when I have sex, I'm not going to pen it. So whatever comes out of my mouth comes out of my mouth. I make noises. I say shit. Okay. My joke is that when I have sex, I sound like a retarded T-Rex because I do. So I'm making noise and she's like, quiet. I'm like, what? She goes, men need to be quiet. You need to be quiet. Men are quiet during sex. Again, agenda. Now you can also think about who is she used to fucking? Little quiet beta males. Because most men are very quiet during sex because they're nervous about what the woman will think. Women will say this. Most men are very quiet during sex because they don't want to, well, what if I make a noise and she doesn't like it? I'm outcome dependent. Okay. So I'm like, whatever, bitch. So I just keep making my noise. And she's like, I got to get on top. Now I hate being on the bottom. I do it occasionally, but I don't like it. I need to be on top. That's my thing. Okay. Matter of fact, it is harder for me to get hard when I'm on the bottom. That's how big of a top I am. Okay. It's me. You might be different. Fine. Well, Caleb, I like being on the bottom. Is that okay? That's fine. Okay. I'm just talking about me. So anyway, she gets on top and she starts writing me and I'm making more noise. She's like, shut up. Quiet. Men are not quiet. It was the worst sexual experience I ever had in my life. And when I left there thinking, okay, worst sexual experience I ever had. I've never seen her again. To be fair, I'm sure she said the same thing about me. That guy was the worst guy I've ever fucked. I'm never fucking that guy ever again. Because I'm an alpha male with a dominant. Didn't work. An extreme dominant. Okay. All right. Let's switch gears now, go to the independent. Now, first of all, this is an interesting thing. When you say independent personality, independent woman, or independent personality types, all the dominants, those of you who are women in my audience, there's a few of you, you go, yeah, that's all the dominants say, yeah, that's me, I'm independent. Dominants think they're independents. They're not. They're dominants. I'll explain the difference in a minute. There's a very distinct difference. So when you say independent, all these dominant women go, yep, that's me. I'm an independent woman. I'm an independent. No, you're not. You are dependent on a man and other people following your strict agenda. And if you don't get it, you're going to go, nee. So you are dependent. The same way that the alpha male 1.0 is dependent on how other people behave all the fucking time. The alpha male 2.0 and the independent woman don't give a fuck what people want. So that's the big trait about the independent woman. By the way, independents are the smallest category of women, less than 10%. They're out there, but it's maybe 10% of modern day women. Okay. Most women are dominants, a big hunk are submissives, and the few left over independents. The independent is the same thing as a dominant, except so she's strong, she's confident, she knows what she wants. The independent does have an agenda, but she doesn't care if you go along with the agenda. She doesn't care. Very alpha male 2.0 like. Not exactly. Big difference between an independent woman and alpha 2.0, but that's one of the similarities. So she has a structure that she likes, that she prefers, but if you don't go along with it, that's cool with her. She doesn't care. She's living her own life. She's cool. It's fine. So they're like chill dominants. They're awesome. Independents are awesome. Are they perfect? No, we'll get to the problems in a minute. Independents tend to be more flexible. The most flexible of all women. The dominant is not flexible at all. The submissive is flexible on the macro. She is not flexible on the micro at all. When Pink Firefly and I go on trips and we need a hotel room, she has to look at the pictures of the bathroom to make sure there's enough counter space for all of her makeup-y stuff. Because she's a hyper girly submissive. So, and if she doesn't like it, she doesn't want to go there. Now, again, where we go, the macro decisions, that's up to me. She doesn't want to pick where to go. She says, you pick where we go. Oh, no, I don't want. But once we go there, I need to see a picture of that bathroom. So the submissive is not flexible about the micro. The dominant is not flexible about the macro, and sometimes the micro too. The independent is flexible on everything. She's totally flexible. Tend to be lower drama too. The least amount of drama you'll get from any woman type is the independent. She doesn't have time. She's too busy with her shit. With her independents tend to be very busy. They're busy with work. They're busy with school. If they're single moms, they're busy raising their kids. Some of them travel a lot. Some of them fuck other guys. They're busy. They don't have time for your drama. They don't want to sit there and argue with you. It's stupid. Like, why am I doing this? So it's great. So now a lot of guys say, well, God, this sounds like the perfect woman, Caleb. The independent is the perfect woman for me. Here's the problem. Tend to be more masculine. There's two problems. First one is these independent women are the most masculine type of these three types. They tend to look more masculine. They tend to act more masculine. This is why they have less drama. This is why they tend to be a little more rational. That's the good side. But the bad side is they're not as attractive. Are there hot independents out there? Of course there are. But they're going to wear jeans and t-shirts. They're not going to wear little girly outfits, generally speaking in general. Another problem is, which is not on these slides, is that they are busy. You know, the submissive and the dominant will be all over you when they like you. The independent's busy. So nailing her down for dates and meets, even if she's an MLTR, in some cases even an OLTR, it's hard because she's got so much going on. You're not her priority in her life. You're like 3 or 4 down there because she has other priorities. Whereas with a submissive and often a dominant, you can be the number one priority. Dominant if you do what you're told, submissive if you help her make decisions. Independent, not as emotionally available in most cases. Not always. So that's the downside of the independent. So you can see there, pros and cons to each. Okay. You will probably prefer more one than the other, and we'll talk about that really specifically in a minute. Some of you are asking questions that are directly related to the topic. So I'm going to see here. Was this dominant a Russian? No, but good question, because that is how Russian women act. Yes, I was having sex with a Russian woman. I give one example of these Russian women where she literally started giving me instructions on the way over to my house. Okay, when I open the door, you will take my coat, and then you will give me a da-da-da, and then we will this, and then when we will have sex, you will do this, and then we have sex. Okay, you will do this, and you will do this, you will not do that. Russian dominance. One of the problems with challenges with Russian women is the vast majority of Russian women are dominant. Instead of 60%, it's like 95%. It's cultural over there. Okay, men too, right? Top countries you can find a submissive woman. Asia. Where's some other questions you had? I was having sex with a dominant woman and I told her to blow me and she said that we weren't there yet. Exactly. Great example. After she said that I got soft, pulled up my pants and left. Let me tell you another dominant story. There's another type of dominant, which I've written about in my books, called stealth dominance. Okay. These are women who have figured out, these are the smarter, more socially calibrated dominants. And these are women who are dominants. They've been dominant their whole life, but they've figured out that being a bossy bitch turns a lot of men off. So on the first few dates, they pretend to be a submissive or independent. And they're really good actresses. And you'll say, well, we should go to this bar and at 4 o'clock and just have a drink. They go, instead of saying, oh, no, that's not a first date. They go, oh, okay. Now in their head, she's thinking, what a fucking asshole. But I got to pretend to not be a dominant. So they go, oh, okay, that sounds fun. Then she goes the first date. She's very nice and doesn't tell you to do a thing. And then you fuck her. She's very nice during sex. Doesn't tell you to do a thing. Then the second, third time you have sex, all of a sudden it comes out. So here's the example of one of those. And she was 33 years old. So you have that too. But anyway, perfect sweetheart. First date, second date, third date, fourth date. We had sex on the second date, I think. The second time we had sex, this was so funny looking. I mean, it made me furious when it happened many years ago, but looking back on it, it makes me smile. We have sex for the second time. So she's pretty new. And the whole time she's been great. That's great for a woman who's over 33 with those issues. Anyway, we're laying in her bed in her apartment. And I'm literally laying next to her after having sex. And immediately she just takes down the shields. And she says, okay, from now on, you will. And she starts rattling off things on her, putting up her fingers on her hands. I forget what they were. You will text me every day. You're going to take me out to dinner once a week. You're going to pay for it. Whenever I want something like sunglasses, you're going to buy them for me. You're going to do this. And she starts rattling these things off on her hand. And I remember looking up at the ceiling as she's rattling off these rules going, gross. Oh my God. Get me the fuck out of here. And I got, to your point, I got the fuck out. It was nice. I got the fuck out of there. I was so angry at myself. I walked down her little, I remember walking down my steps, getting into my car like, why? Why am I putting up with stealth dominance? So sometimes they can trick you. What are percentages for types of women overseas? I'd imagine they'd be more submissive overseas than not indoctrinated by feminist propaganda. You are incorrect. Go overseas and you're going to get a lot of that same Western bullshit. Middle East, Asia. I can't give you the exact numbers because overseas doesn't mean anything. You give me exact country, but I can't give you the exact breakdown of every country. No, you will be shocked. There are women in Asia, women in South America, women who will still be dominant bitches. Yes. And in many cases, like Russians, they're worse. Russians and Eastern Europeans, worse than like normal American, Canadian women. If a lot of Russian women are dominants, does that mean a lot of Russian men are beta? No, Russian men are not beta. There are a lot of Russian betas, yes. A lot of Russian men are alpha. So no. The problem is they have dysfunctional relationships. Cover that in a minute. Okay. Now we covered the 3 types of men, 3 types of women. Now, this handy dandy chart, this might be too small for you to see. Let's see if I can zoom this up a little bit, but I'm going to go through this verbally. No. There we go. This might be too small for you to see. Can I zoom this? No, it won't let me zoom Google Slides. All right, so I'm just going to, if you're watching the video, you can zoom this on your own video if you'd like. I'm going to go through all these. This is basically a chart with the 3 types of women at the top, 3 types of men down the left, and when each one dates the other type, so you have 9 different combinations. What happens if a beta male dates an independent? What happens if an alpha male 2.0 dates a submissive? What happens if a dominant dates an alpha male 1.0? I'm going to go through each one of these scenarios. So these are the scenarios to avoid and or be aware of. All right. I posted this once on my blogs a long time ago. We're going to detail about this. All right. So first one, let's talk about beta males. Okay. What happens when a beta male dates a dominant? Well, rule number 1 for all this stuff is opposites attract. That's a real thing in nature. Okay. So a beta male dating a dominant is the norm in the world. Certainly in the Western world, but in most of countries outside the West, a dominant woman dating a beta male pussy is the societal norm. The vast majority of man-woman couples who are normal, monogamous, everyday, societal programming-based, prison-based couples are what? A strong woman to a kind of a pussy. Not an extreme pussy. Man, there's levels to beta. There's extreme beta males, and there are kind of confident-ishy beta males. There are moderate beta males. But he's a beta. Who wears the pants? She does. That's the norm, right? Because opposites attract. Dominants filter out alpha males. They want beta males. When a dominant, especially when over the age of 33, says, you're not going to have sex with me until we have gone out to dinner at least 5-6 times. What is that? That is a filter to filter out the alpha males. Because the alpha male 1.0 and 2.0 say, well, I'm not doing that. But the beta male say, okay, you're so pretty. She's filtering in the beta males so she can marry a guy who will hand over his money. And when she says, take out the trash, he'll say, yes, master. That's what dominant women want. They want betas. So this is a moderately harmonious relationship with a medium amount of drama because the dominant's going to argue and bitch and scream at him when he acts like a stupid guy, right? This is fine. What do I have here? Woman is the boss, man obeys. Both somewhat like it that way. That's right. Many beta males need a mommy. I've given many examples and stories over the podcast and my blogs and books about this. Beta male men need a strong woman, right? So they kind of like, now they complain about it. My wife won't let me do this and my girlfriend won't let me do that. Bullshit. But again, they stay with these women. Whereas the alpha male, if he's complaining about, the alpha male 2.0, he doesn't like it, he's leaving. He's going to go fuck someone else. The 1.0 is going to argue. We'll talk about that in a second. Woman definitely cheats. Yes. So dominant women dating beta male men, the woman's going to cheat. This is the highest category of women who cheat in relationships are dominant women with beta male boyfriends or husbands. How do I know? I have had sex with many dominant women who had beta male boyfriends. Matter of fact, the only easy way for an alpha male 2.0 to date a dominant woman is if she already has a beta male in her life who kisses her ass. Otherwise, you're in for some problems because she's going to want you to be that person. And if you're an alpha male 2.0, you're not. Cover that in a minute. Okay. So a lot of cheating going on the woman's side in these combinations. Man doesn't know or knows but puts up with it. So it used to be the man had no idea because men are stupid about this. Today, and I've used this example many times, these younger, like Gen Z girls will get a boyfriend, monogamous in quotes boyfriend. Then she'll tell the boyfriend, I'm going to go fuck this guy, or I'm going to do a sugar daddy thing and fuck this sugar daddy. And that's the way it goes because you don't have any money. And the beta male boyfriend will go, but, okay. So very common, right? Now, what happens? Let's shift now. Next over. Beta male dating an independent. Harmonious, but very short-lived relationship. That's right. The woman gets bored very quickly. So all women eventually get bored. It's how they're wired. I've talked this in my books. But the independent dating a beta male, for a while, she's going to really like it because he's so nice. Oh my God, he's just so nice. So she'll like it for a while. Very quickly, she's going to get bored. And as I taught in my books, women cannot be bored. Men can tolerate boredom for 25 years, and most men do. Women can't be bored. That's the worst emotion for a woman. She'd rather be angry, mad, scared, even depressed than be bored. So she leaves. Or she cheats and leaves. A lot of independents will cheat on beta male dudes. Okay. Next one. What if a beta male dates a submissive woman? That's weird. Now, first of all, this doesn't happen very often because, again, opposites attract. So it's pretty rare for a pussy guy to date a pussy girl, for a beta male to date a submissive. But it does statistically happen. I've seen it. I've seen it more than once. I don't see it a lot, but I've seen it. But it's very predictable what happens. For some reason, sometimes life is weird and a submissive woman starts dating a beta pussy and they start becoming boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever. And so here's what happens. Totally dysfunctional relationship. What happens in these relationships is, this happens every time, the submissive woman, so here's the rule in nature, there has to be a boss. I've written entire articles about the 50-50 relationship is bullshit. There's no such thing in the entire universe as a man and a woman in a relationship and it's 50-50. Wrong-o. It's at least 60-40, usually it's 70-30 or 80-20. There's always a boss and there's always a subordinate in every man-woman relationship, and that is normal. It's how nature designed it. So nothing bad about it if you're a feminist. or if you're a tradcon conservative guy. Just how this works. Okay? Hang on. So what happens when a submissive dates a beta male? Very interesting. The submissive woman, because there has to be a boss, there can't be two equals or both wimps. There has to be a boss. Is the man going to step up and be the boss? No, the woman does. The submissive feels like she has to step up and start being the boss. So she has to start kind of telling him what to do. And the thing they hate the most, start making decisions, and they hate it. So the woman will kind of alpha up a little bit, but she'll hate it. She'll hate being the boss. She'll hate being the man. She can't stand it. And then she cheats. She'll cheat and find a more alpha guy where she can feel like a woman again, or not feel like a woman, feel like the submissive personality type that she is. And then they break up. It doesn't last very long. These are short relationships. Do I say that here? Initially, things are okay, but the woman soon becomes the man in the relationship and hates it. Woman likely cheats. Yeah, and then she breaks up. Okay? And again, like I said, these are pretty rare. Submissive with beta, it happens. I've seen it happen, but it's pretty rare. All right, now, let's go down to the alpha male 1.0. This is where it gets really entertaining. Alpha male 1.0 in a relationship with a dominant. So just like what I just said when a beta male dates a submissive, an alpha male 1.0 dating a dominant is rare. Dominant women don't like alpha males 1.0 or 2.0. That's not what dominant women like. Alpha male 1.0s don't like dominant women, right? You hardcore religious Christian or Muslim alpha 1.0s, you want to be like Andrew Tate, you want a bunch of submissive little slaves, right? So this is pretty rare, but again, it happens. I have seen it happen, and it's hilarious when it does happen. I have here dysfunctional relationship, extremely high drama. You have nuclear explosions when a dominant woman dates an alpha male 1.0. She needs to be the boss, and he needs to be the boss, and they're going to fucking fight and fight and fight and fight. And because alpha male 1.0s and dominant women kind of like drama, they just keep fighting and screaming and fighting and screaming and yelling and screaming and fighting, and it's fucking horrible. And it often doesn't last. The only time it lasts is if it is a marriage or relationship of convenience where they can't get divorced because they lose too much money or they lose their brand or they lose their power. So what they do is they kind of figure out, well, I can be the boss here and maybe you can be the boss here. And they still hate each other. Several examples. Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. That is an alpha male 1.0 married to an extreme dominant. How come they haven't got divorced? They can't. For their branding and their power, they have to be married. So they just fucking put up with each other. They can't stand it. Hillary hates Bill and has hated him for 30 years, but they just fucking put up with it. Jay-Z and Beyonce, alpha male 1.0, married to an extreme dominant. How come they're still together? They hate each other. They hate each other. There's cheating all over the place. Why don't they get divorced? They would lose $500 million if they got divorced. The brand is more important, so they just fucking put up with each other. To a lesser degree, those of you know Grant Cardone is, who I like. Grant Cardone married to his wife, Elena Cardone. Hardcore alpha male 1.0, married to an absolute extreme dominant woman. They haven't gotten divorced yet. How do they make that work? I don't know the details. I know they're both hardcore Scientologists, and so I think they have a lot of people helping them manage that delicate balance in the relationship. Grant Cardone famously did not get a prenuptial agreement. Oh my God, when he got married. And he has said multiple times, this could be the most expensive decision of my life if I got divorced. And he has also said, I went on a big Grant Cardone kick about 2 years ago. I watched a bunch of his videos and interviews. Every once in a while he'll say, I think I'm going to get divorced. I think she's going to divorce me. Oh no. He's constantly terrified she's going to divorce him because she's dominant. So there you go. Alpha male 1.0, what happens if they date an independent? This is very interesting. Short or medium length relationship. Woman gets infuriated with man rules and leaves. Okay, let me expand on that. That's a oversimplification. Here's what happens when an independent dates an alpha male 1.0. They love each other for a long time, for a while, because she's like, oh my God, he's so awesome. When I want to go bungee jumping, they do a lot of stuff. You'll see these couples. They get serious with each other or they get married and they go off and do a bunch of stuff together. They like travel together. They go bungee jumping. They go wine tasting. They do, extreme sports together. They do Tough Mudder together. They lift weights together. That's an alpha male 1.0 dating an independent. She's like, he is so awesome. When I want to go bungee jumping, he's like, cool, fuck yeah, let's go do it. Whereas if she dates a beta male and she wants to go bungee jumping, he'll say, well, I read an article once that a guy snapped and he was, right? Beta male. But the alpha male 1.0 is like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So they have a lot of fun together in the initial phase of relationship. So it's strong NRE when an independent dates an alpha male 1.0. Like, oh my God, he's perfect. He loves all the things I like. And this is so great. Does it last? No. Because what starts happening? He's alpha male 1.0. He starts telling her what to do. Now, she's not a dominant. So she's not going to say, oh, excuse me, fuck you. You're going to do what I do. That doesn't happen. She's flexible. She's just like, all right. And for a while, she goes, yeah, all right. She doesn't like it. She's like, okay. And he keeps yelling at her and bitching at her and all that stuff. And finally, she goes, you know what? Fuck this. And then she just leaves. These breakups happen where all of a sudden the woman just leaves the guy he had no idea was coming. He's like, what the fuck? And he loses his mind and screams and yells because he's an alpha male 1.0. And she says, yeah, I'm done. Bye. And she just leaves. She just goes off and fucks someone else. And he's standing like, what the fuck happened? It's hilarious. So that's what happens when an alpha male 1.0 dates an independent, works for a while, and then just suddenly vanishes into dust. And I've seen it happen many times. Many times. All right. Alpha male 1.0 dating a submissive. Just like with the dominant dating the beta male, this is much more normal. The vast majority of alpha male 1.0s and a lot of 2.0s, I'm in this category, their significant other, their main girlfriend or whatever, if they're monogamous or whatever, is a submissive because opposites attract. Submissives feel more comfortable with alpha males. Or else I told you what happened when a submissive dates a beta male. They're really uncomfortable. Submissive women like dating an alpha male who makes all the big decisions. And she should just relax and be herself. Pink Fireflies had the experience of dating a more beta male guy and a more alpha male guy, me. And with me, she's just relaxed because Caleb has it handled. When she was dating her beta male boyfriend before me, she was always kind of on edge. What is he doing? Does he know what he's doing? Oh shit, what do I do? Submissives can relax with alpha males. What I have here is harmonious, medium drama relationship. Man is boss, woman obeys. Both somewhat like it that way. Man definitely cheats. So let me cover the middle part of that. The alpha male 1.0, if he's calibrated, will leave her alone about the details. The problem is most alpha male 1.0s are not calibrated, and so she'll want to decorate the house a certain way, and he says, I'm not decorated that way, and then they fight. So that's why I said medium drama. They have drama because, again, the submissive wants to make decisions on the micro. The alpha male 1.0 wants to make decisions on everything. So she's going to want to decorate the house a certain way. He's like, no, I'm not having that couch in here. But wait a minute, you said, and then they argue. A lot of drama. Not a lot of drama, medium drama, which in my world is way too much. Okay? Outside of that, it kind of works. The man is going to cheat on her if it's a monogamous, in quotes, relationship, in quotes, monogamous relationship. Alpha male 1.0 is going to cheat on her like a mad dog. He is going to be banging everybody behind her back. He's going to be fucking her sister, fucking her mom, fucking her best friend, fucking the 16-year-old at work. I mean, I knew a guy once, hardcore alpha male 1.0, married to a hardcore submissive woman. And this guy he fucked her sister and he fucked the 16-year-old intern at work. I mean, like right under her nose. And this was a guy who'd say like, okay, when you get groceries, here's $200 cash. Here's the exact list I want. When you come back, you need to give me the receipt and give me all the change. And she'd say, okay, because she's submissive. Okay, yes, master. And she would go and then bring him back and then give him the change. He would go take a pen and go through the receipt. This is what 1.0s do. Go through the receipt and then compare the change and make sure it was exactly right. And if she was 1 penny off, he'd scream and yell. Yeah. And then he'd go bang us. They got divorced, by the way, because that doesn't work long-term either. So that's it. All right. Alpha male 2.0. Let's start on the other side here. I have on both these, when the alpha male 2.0 dates a submissive or dates an independent, in both cases, I say the same thing, harmonious, low drama relationship. So if you're an alpha male 2.0, you date a submissive or an independent, they're both great for you. You're outcome independent, So you don't give a shit what she does on the micro. So if you're dating a submissive, you make the macro decisions and she's happy. There are even scenarios, there's been scenarios with me and Pink Firefly where I didn't give a shit about the macro decision. Could you pick? I don't care. Oh, I can't make decisions because I'm a submissive. All right, fine. I just randomly pick a decision on the macro. Fine, I don't care. But on the micro, I'm not going to pin it. You're an alpha male in 2.0. You're not going to pin it. I've said this before. Whenever we live in the same house, she designs the entire house. All I care about is my kitchen, because we have 2 kitchens. You have 2 separate kitchens. We live with a woman, unless you want drama, and my office. The rest of the house, honey, yours. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I'm Malcolm independent, and I'm hyper flexible, like talk about an Unchained CEO. So it's great. It's a match made in heaven. When you're dating an independent, same thing. Unlike the submissive, she'll have a very specific agenda. She'll be very comfortable making her own decisions. But if she's not available because she's working or doing her art projects or traveling with her girlfriends, you don't give a fuck when you're an alpha male 2. But an alpha male 1.0 drives you crazy. Or a beta male, you get lonely. 2.0, you don't give a fuck. It's great. So match made in heaven, alpha male 2.0, submissive or independent. That's why it's better to be an alpha male 2.0. Now, but Caleb, what happens if you date a dominant and you're an alpha male 2.0? Bottom line is you can't. I literally say here, relationship impossible. Here's what I say here. Either partner would never tolerate the other. That's right. So if you're an alpha male 2.0, she's going to filter you out on that first date. I have been filtered out by dominance on first dates many times. I can see it in her eyes. They get this look on their face like, okay, this is a cool guy. I could never date this guy. He will never do what I tell him. When I tell him to take out the trash, he'll laugh and make a joke. I can't be with this fucking guy. I need a beta male. Yes. So and the inverse is also, if you're a true alpha male 2.0, are you going to date more than an FB, a dominant who's going to tell you what to do and give you orders? No, that's antithetical to alpha male 2.0. Only a beta male would do that, or a very dumb or desperate alpha male 1.0. Right? So you can't have a relationship. Now, what do I have here is very casual short-term relationships only. Short-term is not necessarily true. Let me rephrase that. I mentioned this earlier. If she already has a guy in her life, a boyfriend or a guy she's dating or whatever, okay, who is a beta male and is kissing her ass and following orders, then you can have a dominant as an FB. Dominants make great FBs if they have a boyfriend or someone like that. If she's single and looking for a boyfriend, you can't date her. It won't work. You won't get past definitely the second first date. Probably won't get past the first date. Her shields are up to filter you out, and your shield's up to filter her out. That being said, dominance, this is just dating now. For an alpha male 2.0, dominants are the coolest women to hang out with, non-sexually, non-dating. I love, and I mean this, man, I love hanging out with dominant women and working with dominant women. Billy is a dominant woman. I could never date Billy, but like working with her is a dream for me. I love dominant women in the workplace. They're awesome. They're great because they kick ass and get shit done. Personally, like as friends, I don't believe in friend zone, but if you have a dominant woman who you're not physically attracted to, hanging out with them, because dominant women tend to be smart. They tend to be funny. You can watch them boss around their beta boyfriend or husband and laugh. Dominant women are awesome people, just not to date if you're an alpha male 2.0, unless she's an FB and already has a boyfriend who follows her orders. Make sense? You'll be very careful with this. And some of you alpha 2.0s or aspiring alpha 2.0s have made the error of trying to date a dominant. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. Unless you're the side guy. You can be the side guy. I have been talk about married women a while back. Okay. So way back 15 plus years ago when I did play around with married women, I don't today. It's against my rules for me. But back before I had that rule, I was with 3 married women. 2 of them were extreme dominants with extreme beta male husbands. And it worked perfectly because they had a beta male husband doing what they wanted. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's it. Really quick. 90-day business builder. I'm going to hit your questions right after this. I'm going to go through this really quick. Enrollment for a 90-day business builder is open right now. And if you enroll this week, you get an entirely free month extra on the program and you get coaching from me. only this week. So really quick, 90 Day Business Builder is where we hold your hand and walk you through the process over 12 weeks on exactly what to do to get from zero to the money, starting your own business from scratch, even if you have no idea what to do, making real money within 90 days. We guarantee you'll be making money within 90 days, or we will work with you forever until you do. Now, if you sign up this week, that 90 days is now 120 days. You have an extra month to make your money. Pretty cool. You got to sign up this week. You can make payments. It's a few $1,000s. You can make payments. Okay? And with the payments, if you want to make payments, there's no interest and no late fees ever. Okay? We're very flexible about this. It's 100% tax deductible. Even if you currently don't have a business, you can write it off in your taxes. The cost of this program, it is a business program. Please check with your accountant. You get 3 live sessions with live coaches every week, plus an additional 2 bonus ones. So you actually get 5 live sessions a week. And if you miss them, they're recorded and they are yours forever. You're going to be in our base camp where we support you daily with a structured curriculum where every week we give you assignments and you do them. And your accountability coach will be assigned accountability coach in base camp who will help you through those assignments if you have trouble or questions 24/7. You also have access to 25 exclusive, and I mean exclusive. This is not available in any other course I've ever done, not SMIC Vault, not the bundle, only Business Builder. There's about 25 videos, most of them I've done on the specific processes like how to pick a niche, how to price your product, copywriting on your website, all these how-to videos, because those help you on top of the live sessions. I also throw in the Alpha 2.0 business course. You throw that in as a bonus. That's 5 hours of content, how to set up your location-independent business. I also throw in the course, How to Get Clients, which is 13 ways on how to get clients and customers starting from zero. And I also throw in my book, Big Income from Little Work. We just throw that in as extras so you have all the materials you need to make money within 90 days so you quit your stupid fucking 9-to-5 job and your dumb gigs and be free. 90daybizbuilder.com. The deadline to sign up is this Monday night EST. Now, this is a special week. If you sign up this week by Monday, September 30th, EST midnight, I'm going to add an entire month just for you guys. You get an entire month free. So instead of a 90-day business builder, it's a 120-day business builder. That also extends out all the coaching and the guarantee. So you have an extra month to make your money, or we work with you forever until you don't. Okay? I'm also going to throw in a 1-hour group coaching session with me, which is not part of this program. I don't do 1-hour group coaching sessions in Business Builder. I'm too expensive. I'm going to throw that in just for you guys to sign up this week. I'm also going to throw in another 1-hour group coaching session with a different coach, probably Billy, but it could be someone else. In addition to that, over the next 120 days, you sign up. Also, if you want the free extra month and the coaching from me, but you don't want to sign up, you don't want to start Business Builder yet because you got some other stuff going on in your life, you can sign up now, as in before Monday night. You have to make your first bid before Monday night, okay? And you can start Business Builder anytime you want up to the next 12 months. You can start it in November, December, next February, even next summer. That's fine with me. You can lock it in now, get signed up now, and start later. We've had a lot of people do that. And that's perfectly fine. Okay? If you want this deal, which is expiring Monday night, 90daybizbuilder.com. Your deadline is this Monday night. Okay, so if you sign up now, get all those extras, that's $2,250. I can't talk. What is that number? $2,250 of free stuff that you're getting if you sign up now that you wouldn't get any other time. Only till Monday. Now, really fast. Those of you who have already signed up for, or you're going to sign up for, my immersion program, which is where I do 12 hours of live streaming. You follow me my whole life in Dubai, including my women and my business and how I manage my time. And okay, that happens. If you've signed up for that, or you're going to sign up for that, because that deadline is still not, we haven't hit that deadline yet, you get $1,000 off the 90-day Business Builder as part of that program. Okay, so if you've already signed up, you can apply the $1,000 discount to the 90-day Business Builder right now. You talk to your guy on your phone, whoever you talk to, and say, hey, I signed up for Caleb's immersion thing. I want my $1,000 off right now. We'll give it to you. Okay. And you can even apply it to the 90-day Business Builder now if you want to start Business Builder later. That's fine. So now if you haven't signed up for the immersion service and you know you're going to or probably going to, you can sign up for that this week. Sign up for that. Get your $1,000 off. Then sign up for Business Builder by Monday night take the $1,000 off, get your free month, and then start later if you want. You can do all this together in the same week. If you were planning on doing both anyway. If you weren't planning on doing the immersion thing, then forget about it. The immersion thing is at www.caleb.top/shadow. And it says the deadline is hit. That's not correct. The deadline is for the discount code, which is expired. You can still sign up for that program. Okay, you can do it this week and get your $1,000 off. 90daybizbuilder.com. Your deadline is Monday night. And every week, or every time we do this, I didn't know the deadline. Sorry, I can't repeat this enough. All right, let me answer your questions. Hang on. A lot of you are asking about where do I find independents? What countries do I find the submissives? It's not that simple. I'll answer these questions. Yeah, at least 3 of you said, what country can I go to find submissive women? There's 3 of you who have asked that question. Hang on. Oh my God, you guys have a lot of questions here. Is this a good niche? Teaching piano to kids with ADHD who are complete beginners to help them improve their concentration and productivity. You are making a common mistake. You're not stating a niche. You're stating a business. The niche is kids with ADHD. Do kids with ADHD really want to learn piano? I don't know, and you don't know. You're projecting the solution onto the niche. Instead, you would go to kids with ADHD. Now, first of all, no, that's not a good niche. That's way too broad. Fucking these days, most kids have ADHD. That's way too broad. You need kids who have ADHD and this and this. Then you research that niche and find out what those kids need or want, or what their parents want for them. That's also valid. And then you provide that. You just want to teach piano. You're trying to find reasons to teach piano. So no, that is not a good niche. What is the exact word-for-word text response? You're not going to get that from me. No such thing. To use on a dating app when a woman asks, so why does your profile say you're 25 and you're actually 38? Well, the reason she knows that is you told her, right? So why are you worried? I'm concerned she'll report me. Why are you concerned? You told her. Well, what I would answer is because the algorithm of this stupid app means I don't see any women who are like under 32, and I'm open to dating women who are younger than that. How bad will women suffer when sex robots come? I have 3 entire articles at the Alpha Male 2.0 blog. Go to alphamale20.com/blog, click the archive and do a search on sex robots. I go into that in detail. It will be extremely bad for women. It'll be the first time. It'll be the biggest shift in sexual power since the 1960s. It'll be horrible for women. They're going to hate it, and they will do everything in their power to make it illegal. And in some countries, they will make it illegal. You better have 5 flags by then. Will it affect women overseas? It'll affect all women wherever the sex robots are. Yes. Why would it not affect women overseas? So in pitching the second date, would you center around doing it in your car, their place? Are you the guy who, hotel, what would you say? So you're the guy who lives at home? It's up to you. Doing it in your car, their place, or a hotel. You pick. Hotels cost money. It's a problem with hotels. So that's your last option. Buying lots of land is buying lots of land a good idea? In Paraguay, I heard it's cheap. Yes, but you don't just buy it because you heard it was cheap on the internet. That's not what you buy land. Buying land is very complex. You buy it for 5, 6 different reasons, not just because you heard on a forum that land is cheap in Paraguay. It's very cheap here, yes. But in general, the answer is yes. But you need to do a lot more research than just, I heard it was cheap, so I'm going to buy a bunch of land. I'm doing market research for my niche, and sometimes I have worries about losing my job out of nowhere. Beta male thinking, that's correct. That's odd, but okay. How do I stop worrying about it? I want a client fast. I wouldn't stop worrying about it. That's a healthy fear. I wouldn't stop worrying about that. Whatever you can do to motivate you to get that client fast, great. If you need, I've talked about this in my podcast on this channel. If you need to use negative emotions to get you into action, do it. That's great. I reacted very badly to a girl who was dating a few months, breaking it off with me. Okay, that's not good. I told her about a girlfriend I have, and she got very upset. A girlfriend? So you're cheating on a girlfriend with another? Yeah, you fucked all this up. I tried to apologize and since explained, but no response. I explained that I exaggerated the relationship with the other girl to upset her as I was annoyed at the time. You sound very young. Are you under the age of like 26? You sound very young. That's something a young guy would do. I might take a few months off the apps to work on my inner game. How come it depends? Okay, first of all, stop talking to her. Radio silence with her for a year. And then work on yourself, yes. What's the best way to get a 10 in Dubai? Sugar daddy game. What's a good way to determine what we should care about and what we shouldn't care about? Oh, easy. Yourself. Do you have control over it for yourself and does it make you happy? That's it. What if your girlfriend says something on Twitter that you don't like? Do you have direct control over that? Can you control her fingers 24/7 on her phone? No. See, then you don't care. How about how much money you make? Should you care about that? Yeah. Do you have direct control over how much money you make? Yeah. So you should give a shit about that. Where you live. Do you have direct control over where you live? Yeah. Unless you live in North Korea. Yeah. So you better care about that shit and get that shit done, starting your own business. In my case, losing weight. Is losing weight up to me? Yeah. So I care about that. But do I care about what other people do? No. Pink Firefly's back in the United States right now, and I'm in Paraguay. Do I give a shit what she's doing? No. Can't control her. Love her. Wonderful. But I'm not going to worry about it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, don't worry. I'll always correct your ass if you're wrong. I'm an expert at that. You mentioned starting a service on helping businesses with sales if you don't want to do niche research. Generally speaking, that is correct. Example, sales consulting for wind energy companies, bad idea. Wind energy companies. I don't know for sure if that's a niche. I think you need to narrow that down a little more. And then you need to call several wind energy companies and ask them if they want more clients. Well, Caleb, everyone wants more clients. That's not true. There are some niches. I come out of one. IT, self-employed IT consultants. A lot of those guys don't want more clients. They're like, oh, fuck, we don't want more business. We're busy. So you ask them, do you want more business? And you get 5, 6, 7 say, hell yes. Great, go for it. If they say, well, not really, we're doing okay, then that's not a good niche because they're not motivated enough. I'm a young guy who wants a cougar. Okay, that's fine. That's what I did when I was a younger guy. Cougars are great. But I don't know any of my social circles. Well, correct, because you're a young guy. Probably don't. How bad is online dating for this, or should I attempt day or night game for cougars? It's not bad, but it's not great. It's rough. Yeah, day game or night game would be a little better. The best thing to do for cougars is social circle game. Start meeting all the guys and girls you know are your age, their moms, and I mean that literally. Yes, hot MILFs, moms, older women friends. That's the best way to do cougar game for younger guys. Meet them for people you already know, but you have to go make an effort to do this. They ask about their moms and their friends, or you can't say, hey, is your mom? Let's hang out with your mom. Talk about like mom and dad, and they can see a picture of her mom and her dad, and you go, oh, or what? Or well, I don't have a dad. You see, you get my point. If doing niche research, how do you find a problem? If doing niche, hang on, I'm talking too fast. Hang on a second. Let's slow down. Slow down and relax, Caleb. Take a deep breath. How, if doing niche research to find a problem, how many people do you need to say they have X problem to verify it's the right niche? Well, we teach the business builders at least you need consensus from at least 5 people. You want 5 different people in a niche to say they have that same problem. 1 or 2 doesn't count. The Maldives is not a good place to travel if you're single because it's not a good place to doing pickup as it's just a bunch of couples that go there. Correct. That is not a place to pick up chicks. Absolutely not. Just like going on a cruise. Some guys try to go on a cruise. Dude, that's all couples. No, you're an idiot. You're absolutely correct. When you have an OLTR, take it to the Maldives, you'll have a great time. Pink Firefly did it. When I was having sex relations, you can type the word sex, with my MLTR, she said, are you only mine? And my dumb self said yes as I went inside her. How bad of a fuck up is this? You can say whatever you want during sex. Whatever you say during sex is not real. So you can say whatever you want during sex. I say all kinds of shit during sex, dude. I say shit like, I'm going to make you pregnant. You're going to have my baby. Do I really mean that outside of sex? No. Okay, but I say it because it's hot. You say whatever you want during sex. Serbian women can be hot, but they are a bit tall. Okay. What type of girl that shows behaviors of the 2 types? How do you categorize them? Good question. So every woman is only one type, but she can have leanings toward the other type. So my main girl in Dubai is a submissive, but with strong independent tendencies. She's not half submissive, half independent. She's a submissive, but she has strong independent leanings that most of my other women who are submissive don't have at all. So she has a primary and she has a secondary. And some are like this. Yeah, you can have some dominants that have strong independent leanings. They're not as dominant. They're still dominants, but they're not as dominant as like fucking Beyonce or Hillary Clinton. Okay, so that's the categories. When Andrew Tate was in Dubai back in 2022, it seems that you did not like that. I didn't like that he was in, I didn't care if he was in Dubai. It was fine. Why didn't you like Andrew Tate being in Dubai? I never said that. As Dubai was this big city, it would not affect you. You are completely wrong. I have no problem with Andrew Tate being in Dubai. I had a problem with Andrew Tate saying things like you own women, and if you're a man, you have to own them, and respect my authority, and then Andrew Tate living with a bunch of girls, because what happens, you get drama, and then they send you to prison. That's what I don't like about Andrew Tate. Not that stuff. He could live down this, he could live in my building. I think it'd be awesome. What are some good mantras and affirmations for telling your subconscious that you deserve to be with really attractive women? Just that. I deserve to be with really attractive women. I am worthy of being with smoking hot 10s. Smoking hot, gorgeous 10s love me and love everything about me. Stuff like that. Top countries where you can find a submissive woman. All right, for all of you saying what countries define this type of woman, anywhere outside of the Western world, your odds are better for having more submissive women. That's rule number one. Rule number one is anywhere outside the West. Caleb, what's the West? United States, Canada, Europe, including Eastern Europe. Let me say that again, including Eastern Europe, you idiots. Some people say that when I say Europe, well, Eastern Europe's different. No, it's not. There are a lot of dominant bitches in Eastern Europe. You kidding? Okay. So United States, Canada, all of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Israel. Anywhere outside of those countries, your odds for finding more submissive women are better. Number one. Number two, all these countries outside the West still have shitloads of dominant women. There's tons of dominant women in Asia. There's tons in South America. There's tons in the Middle East. You're not going to like have this sea of perfectly wonderful submissive women in X country. So don't set your expectations that high. And number three, by the way, there are tons of submissive women in the West. You know how many women I've had sex with who are Americans who are submissive? A shitload. What are some good African countries to go to? That is too broad a question. I don't know what you mean. For what purpose? Has family members cut you off because of a beef they had with your parents? Like an uncle had a beef with your mother or father, so they cut you off and you had to reconcile with them. I've never had anything like that happen in my life, no. When did you stop being jealous in terms of other men in regards to women? Probably around 2009, 10. So I started this process in 2007. So it probably took me about 3 years to completely get rid of it. Every year it got less and less. The last time I remember feeling jealous was 2009-ish, I think. I can remember the exact scenario. So that was how long ago? Yeah. The Aperol Spritz is the drink. Yes. Oh, that's a big thing here in Paraguay is Aperol. It's a drink a lot of high-class women drink coming from experience. However, you don't drink too much, so you won't get whiskey dick. As I once experienced it, not fun. Correct. I do not drink and I do not get drunk. But if women want to get drunk, that's fine. There's a lot of women who rather smoke weed and get high and get drunk, including here in Paraguay. I was having sex with dominant women. Oh, you okay? I already talked about this. What percentages he types? Okay, I already answered that. When you go on dates, how do you riz? Meaning, how do you game them? Go to gettosexfast.com and get that book. Get to Sex Fast. It covers it's an entire book on how to do the first date and the second date. It talks about that exactly. Caleb, I am an idiot. Okay, I got out of a monogamous relationship, which I should have never done to begin with. Correct. Getting back to dating, I forgot I was attracted to other women. How do we reorient my mindset? The best way to do it is to get out there and start making out with girls and fucking girls. That's what'll do it faster than anything else. Get out there and do it. You have sex with 2 new hot girls out of a monogamous relationship, change your whole life. But you got to do it. Get out there and follow the structures. Get my books. If you don't like my books, use someone else's book. Get out there and do it. 2 new hot girls, you'd be like, well, and then you're off to the races. The first 2 are the hardest. Just like when you start your own business, the first client's the hardest. That's why you have a business builder to help you with that. When you're out of a long-term monogamy, two new hot girls. Get that done as fast as you can. Spanish women. You're asking about dominant, independent. In Spain, Spain is the West. Same thing. Most are dominant, some submissive, few independents. Which is better, girls who do yoga or girls who do Pilates? Girls work out, make their fast food. That is a completely personal preference. Up to you. What about the rare dolls you mentioned on a post once? I think in Brazil, I met a couple, still dating them as an MLTR for 5 years. Yeah, I remember that. That's a different type of personality structure. That article you're referring to is a different personality structure based on different parameters. Pink Firefly is a doll. Not very many of those, but there are enough out there. Any big city, you'll have millions of them. What's your opinion on DNA mapping services? Will they have a doctor analyze your genetics for strengths and weaknesses and precursors based on individual genetics? I'm going to get that done next year. So I think it's a fantastic fucking idea. If you have the money, do it. Perfect chart. I'm an alpha with a submissive and it's harmonious, easygoing. She loves me for being a man. I love her being a woman. Simple as that. Great. I hope you're not monogamous, Frank N. I hope you're fucking other women and she knows it. Or else you're headed for a disaster, even with a submissive. Long-term monogamy does not work. Doesn't matter who's submissive or who's not. Submissive women divorce their alpha male husbands and break up alpha male boyfriends every day because it's monogamous. Is it possible to work towards citizenship through residency in 2 countries simultaneously? If you do it correctly, yeah, it's tricky. So yeah, if you live in Mexico for 6 months a year, because that's what they require, 6 months a year for 3 years, and then you move in another country that says you got to be here 6 months a year for 3 years or 5 years, yes, you can make it work. You got to be really careful. Your travel's got to be on point, and you can't travel anywhere else. You can't leave Mexico for 2 weeks and go visit your friends, and can't do that. So it's possible but difficult. I'm from Eastern Europe, and it's fucking awful. I have to go through so many dates to find a submissive. It's crazy. Yes, Eastern Europe is not a place for submissives. I'm sorry. Correct. Better luck, a little better luck in Asia or where I am in Latin America. A lot of submissive women here in Latin America. And a lot of dominant bitches here too, because they're Latinas. So Latina submissive are more drama prone because they're more fiery, but they can still be submissive. Yeah. Let's say you're at a social gathering and you're talking to a woman or a couple and you want to figure out what type the woman is. What are some quick questions to identify this? Good question. Her current or past relationships with men, how she behaves in those relationships and what she complains about. You know, I told him to do this and he didn't do it. I told him this and he did it wrong. Tom. It's a little difficult. You can't, sometimes hard to identify a woman in a few minutes unless they're extreme. If she's extremely submissive, you can tell in a few minutes. If she's an extreme dominant, you can tell in a few minutes. But if she's just a normal submissive, it takes a little more time. Like if she's extreme, well, Caleb, if she's extreme submissive at a party, she's with her boyfriend or something, and you ask her a question and she looks at her boyfriend. That's one telltale time. Or she looks nervous. You ask her a question, she starts looking uncomfortable because she doesn't know how to answer you. Right? That happens to Pink Firefly. When Pink Firefly comes to my live events, my seminar stuff, she's been to a few of them. She told me once, don't ever ask me a question because I won't know the answer. I'll be on the spot. And I forgot that once. So the event we did in Florida, Orlando a few years ago, a bunch of guys went to this. She was sitting in the back of the room. I was talking about dating. I said, hey, Pink Firefly, don't you agree that da-da? And she's like, yeah. I said, oh, shit, I should have asked her. Whoops, sorry. But in a one-on-one scenario, if I'd asked her, she would tell me. I know a few guys that are confident, outcome independent, and chill. They seem to be 2.0, but they don't have a 2.0 business, stuff like that. How would you classify them? They're alpha 2.0 internally. They're not alpha 2.0 externally. There are some alpha male 2.0s who live the lifestyle of beta males because they haven't found my material or whatever, or they don't think they can do it. I don't know. I don't know what the reason they have, but that's it. There's alpha male internally, confident, outcome independent. There's alpha male externally, non-monogamous, have your own business. That's location dependent. Best place to find independence, already answered that question. And about best place to find whatever type, I already talked about this. Everywhere. What do you think is the makeup of types of women who are 10s? It's not relevant. You can have 10s who are submissives, 10s who are dominants, 10s who are independents. If they are famous 10s, probably not going to be submissives. A submissive, is very hard for a submissive to do the work necessary to be famous. So if she has 4 million or 10 million Instagram followers and she's a 10, probably not a submissive, okay? She's probably a dominant or an independent. But if she's not a famous 10, she can be any one of the three. It's not relevant. You can have 9s, 10s, 6s, 7s, 1s, and all three category types. What aspects of your appearance style are the most crucial to pay attention to? Personally, there's no one. The answer is there's no one aspect. You go on a first date, I teach this, you need to stand in front of a full-length mirror and look at your entire thing, because women will look at everything. They won't look just at your hair. They're going to look at everything. They're better at that than we are. You look at your hair, you look at your skin, you look at your eyebrows, you look at your nose, you look at your lips, you look at the color of your skin. How tan are you? You look at your ears, you look at your hairstyle, you look at your collar, look at if you have hair pop up through your collar, the color of your shirt, the color of your belt, your pants, your shoes. How do your shoes look? How are you standing? How are your shoulders? Everything. Unfortunately. Caleb, you took an FB to eat in Paraguay. Isn't that dating behavior? I just gave you a little slip up of something that I am doing that I cannot talk about. Ask me in about 2 months when I discuss this publicly. Sorry, I let that slip. Oops. Caleb, I'm doing market research for my niche, and sometimes I have fears of letting go of the job. Okay, I already answered that question. So I left my 9-to-5 job for good in silence to pursue my mission. What does in silent mean? Okay, there's this girl that really likes me a lot, and she texts me saying, I'm not going to see you anymore. What can I say of value? Real easy. You say, okay, I understand. Bye. And then radio silence for a year. Unless she comes back and says, well, okay, we can see each other. How does a beta male even manage to get with a dominant in the first place? What do you think? What do you think? All the normal shit. They go on a first date and the dominant says, this guy is a fucking pussy. Perfect. He's mine. And he goes, and then he says this, oh, wow, she likes me and she's hot. Yay. Women are getting harder as time goes on. So a dominant choosing a beta male doesn't make sense. Betas don't get laid. You are completely wrong. Betas get laid all the time with monogamous girlfriends who run their lives. That is a misnomer. Betas do get laid. Incels don't get laid. Not betas. Most men are betas and they're all having sex. Where are all these babies coming from? Beta males having sex with their wives or girlfriends. That's not true. Beta males get laid. They just don't get laid with multiple women whenever they want, like we do. Beta males get laid, dude. Yeah, they do. Beta males cheat. They're still men. Yeah. How does the beta act alpha, then drop it once locked in? How does the beta act alpha? Betas don't act alpha. And then drop it. I don't understand what you're saying. What is your, okay, let's see here. Stop repeating questions. When doing market research, how many people in the niche? Okay, I've answered that question. I'm in 90-day business builder. You don't get 3 Zoom sessions per week. You only get 1. You get 3. That's incorrect. You get 3. Now, if you're new, sometimes 1 or 2 of those sessions don't apply to you. You can still go to them if you want in the finders group or the builders group. You can. Plus, you get access to Jan's session on Saturday. Plus, there's another one that I forget. So, yes, you do. You're right. Not all. As soon as you sign up, like, if you sign up for Business Builder right now, would you go to a session on how to run cold ads on YouTube? No, it doesn't apply to you. So, you might not need to go to that session initially. That's true. But you can. How do you know your vision is one if there are many possible outcomes to pursue and all of them are attractive? That's part of defining a vision and a mission. That's the difficulty of defining a mission. You only get 1. So yeah, you got to sit down and think about it. It might take you 6 months to figure that out, but you got to figure that out. The number 1 requirement for a man, if there were any, is to figure out what your mission is. You can't just say, well, how do you do it? It's impossible. There's so many options. That's the problem. There's too many options. That's why the most important thing in life, skill in life, is focus. That's why I did those 3 dopamine and kill your current self podcasts in this channel to show you how to focus better. You got to focus. Sorry. Yeah, it's hard. It was hard for me too, but I did it. What's the best way to find local men's groups in my area? Looking for groups of men who are focused on success of women, life, financial life, physically. You are asking the wrong guy. I wish I had an answer. I'm an introvert. I don't need that. I don't know. Go on some forums and ask around. Ask your friends. I don't know. If anyone in this chat knows, or if you're watching the replay, you can put in the comments. Help them out. I don't know. Good question. I don't have those needs, or else I would know. I'd say the person who pursues the relationship is the dominant, which is almost always the guy. False. The guy who pursues the relationship is the beta male who's needy and has one-itis for the girl. Incorrect. Are there more submissives in Asia like in China, Thailand? Okay, I already answered that. If your vision is rough around the edges, vision or mission? I think you're mixing up the words and you don't know what details you're going for. It's okay to flesh out as you go. If you're talking about your mission, yes, that is fine. If you're talking about your vision, no. Your vision needs to be very specific, but vision is easy to make specific. How do you message women on Instagram? It's a standard thing. You come up with a standard opener. You're talking about with online dating stuff? Come up with a standard opener. Just use one of the openers in my books. Have you seen info on gamma, sigma, and omega males? Yes, I've addressed this at my blogs many times. Are these subsets of your three types? Sigma looks close to alpha. Okay, so first of all, I'm not going to complete the rest of your question. The entire concept of sigma, gamma, omega males is a bunch of listigs jerking off. It is not useful. It's complete bullshit. It doesn't fucking matter. It's spreadsheet thinking. It's keyboard jockey thinking. It's listig thinking, which means low income smart guy. Don't worry about it. If you're concerned about sigma males, there's a YouTube video I have on the Alpha Male 2.0 YouTube channel called Is the Alpha Male 2.0 Sigma Male? Watch that video. But like, delta, sigma, gamma, stop jerking off, mental masturbation, and get into action. Don't worry about those things. They're silly. I drink a lot of Costco purified water. It's BPA free, still a bad idea. It's better than drinking tap. The best water you can drink is reverse osmosis water that has been filtered through a filtration system that you order to your house, or you have a system set up like I have here in Paraguay and Dubai that I have on my videos. But it's not, so it's medium. It's all right. Not the best, but it's fine. Really struggling with my hardcore 1.0 nature. Really want to transition to 2.0. What are the three best things I can do to achieve this? I'll give you one thing right now. Just focus on one thing. You ask yourself, you have to deal with your outcome outcome dependence. So you ask yourself, why do I care? So a woman you're dating does something when you're not around that you think is inappropriate. And because you're an alpha male 1.0, you go, she shouldn't do that. She's not respecting me. You take 3 deep breaths and you ask yourself as logically and rationally as you can, why do I care? Why do I care? Why does this make me angry? And your brain will give you an answer. Well, that's because of this. Okay. Why do I care about that? Why does that make me angry? Well, that's because this. Okay. Why do I care about that? And you really analyze these feelings. Or you ask, as you get deeper, is that valid? Why do I think that? And you keep going and going, and eventually you'll come up to one or two things. Why do I care about that? Why do I care about that? And then finally you'll say, well, I guess I don't care about that. Or you'll say, well, the reason I care about that, 4 levels deep is my dad said when I was 6. Well, my dad's full of shit. Why do I give a shit? My dad told me when I was 6. You deconstruct why you give a shit, why it makes you angry. Or maybe because I have an anger control problem, I need help. Okay, great. Nothing to do with her, that's just you. So whatever, that's how you do it. Is it normal to get really bored with dating even though I get laid so much, mostly ONS? Not normal, but some men have that problem, yeah. Some men have that problem. You're an extreme thrill of the hunt guy. Thrill of the hunt guys get bored a lot, yeah. I don't have an easy answer how to fix that because I've never had that problem. I'm the opposite of you. I can fuck the same girl for 20 years as long as she doesn't get fat, and I'm fucking other women, and I don't get bored. I love it. So I don't have that issue. I don't know how to answer your question. Wish I could. But it's not abnormal. A lot of guys have that problem. You should do, go on the more pickup artisty forums or groups and ask those guys, hey, Any of you guys have struggled with being bored? I'm banging new chicks all the time and I'm still bored. How, if any of you guys have had that problem? How did you deal with it? I'm a 20-year-old who just began reading your book, The Unchained Man, about a month ago. I still feel very resistant about certain parts, but I do agree deeply with most things said so far. That's awesome, dude. That's great. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. That girl I told you about earlier, who I told you about the girlfriend, okay? I've stopped messaging her entirely, and she previously had a lot of attraction for me. I had one-itis. Is it possible she may eventually return? If you were monogamous to her or acted monogamous, your odds are low, but not zero. But the odds are low if you were monogamous or acted monogamous, which it sounds you acted monogamous. So a dominant woman can love a submissive man? Absolutely. They prefer submissive men. Yes, a dominant woman can absolutely love a submissive man. Absolutely true. The two women I mentioned who are married, who I hooked up with like 15 plus years ago, married to extreme beta males, they're still married to their same beta male husbands and they love them. They didn't leave them. They love them. They have other needs these men can't fulfill because they're betas, but they love them. Yeah. And long-term monogamy doesn't work. A local lunatic came up to me and shouted at me, squared up to me when I was with my girl because I was wearing a Stone Island overshirt. I ignored him and kept walking. Was this the right thing to do? Yes. Now, it also depends on how you did it. If you did it with a scared look on your face and you start walking faster, that's not good. If you smiled and go, that guy's hilarious, and just kept walking, great. Depends on how you did it. Have you noticed that a woman can act as other types depending on the man she's with? I've been with dominants that act like submissives when they're with me. Yes. Now, they're still dominants and they still have that dominant. They're just acting more submissive when they're with you. That is correct. That can happen. I've told many examples about this, how I would date women as an MLTR and they'd be dating other guys or another guy. And when they were with them, they would just completely boss them the fuck around. And if these guys fucked another girl, they'd lose their shit and yell at these guys. But I was fucking other women left and right. They knew it. They let me do it. They were fine. They were sweethearts. Yeah. So that can happen. Now, that doesn't mean she's a dominant when she's with Joe and she's a submissive when she's with me. She is a dominant who acts less dominant when she's with me. But yes, that happens. What about Brazil? More dominant and submissive, about the same. What type of women do you say African black women tend to be? Dominant. I want to teach piano online. Which niche would you recommend? I can't recommend it. There's 10,000 different niches. I don't know which one. Pick one. What's the difference between incel and beta? Oh, there's a big difference. I have an idea, but I'm curious your perspective. I have a podcast coming up in a few weeks where I discuss incel, MGTOWs, and black pills. That'll be fun. The difference is the incel is a beta male. They're both betas. Incel is a subtype of beta male. Okay. So all incels are betas, but not all betas are incels. The beta male incel is the guy who hates women. He's angry in his basement, typing all day about how horrible women are, and he jerks off to porn all day and never gets laid and never tries to fuck any girls because women are cunts. That's the incel. I'm exaggerating and I'm generalizing. That's probably not exactly right. You get my point. The typical beta male is out there in the world. Sometimes he gets laid because sometimes he gets a girlfriend and has sex with his girlfriend, or sex with his wife, especially if he's over 30. Statistically speaking, if he's over 30, 35, he's living with somebody. He's living with some bitch who's screaming at him, telling him what to do, and he fucks her. And occasionally he might cheat on her, maybe. How do you find how much to charge clients for your niche? You base it based on the value you are selling and the problem you are fixing. So if you're doing consulting, for example, and the problem you're fixing is going to save them $2 million a year, you can charge them $100,000. If you're doing B2C and you're helping an individual fix this one problem that will save him $20,000, you can charge him $3,000. It's based on the problem, not the niche. And it is based on how much money the niche has too. You can charge plastic surgeons a lot more money than you can charge single mothers because they have more money. That's another factor. So those two factors. Not how the beta acts alpha. Does he feign confidence to get laid? No. He's a beta and he gets laid because he's on a first date with a dominant who's looking for a beta. And he's not a complete loser. He's not weird. He looks normal and he acts normal. And the dominant says, great, I'll fuck this guy. There are big, fat, ugly beta males, guys, who have girlfriends and wives. Have you seen Kevin Smith? Okay, come on. I don't know why you guys are confused about this. Beta males get laid with one girl who is a dominant girlfriend or wife. Hundreds of millions of betas are getting laid right now. And they don't have to act like alphas to get laid. They go on a few first dates, kind of, or they meet someone through work. How does the typical beta male find his wife? He meets his sister's friend or whatever, and he's a pussy, but he's a nice guy and he's normal. And she goes, oh, he'll do. He'll kiss my ass, the woman says, and they get married. And then they get divorced because long-term monogamy doesn't work. After becoming a doctor, should I live at my home with my parents and pay off my student loans before paying for my own place? I would, yes. I absolutely would do this. Get debt-free. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yes, 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 yes. Is it okay to take some months off apps and women to work on my inner self/money? Sometimes, yes. I've already had a lot of success with women, laid, but I've got burnout and I found areas you to prove it. For a while, sure, that's fine. Okay, few more questions, and I got to go. 90daybizbuilder.com. You get an extra free month and coaching with me. 90daybizbuilder.com. And if you're doing the immersion service, you can get $1,000 off your business builder and start business builder later. If you're not to the immersion service, you can sign up now and get business builder, start the business builder process later, even next year if you want. Fine with me. That's fine. We're very flexible about this. All right, a few more questions. I got to go. I'm in a one-way open LTR, open on my end. That will not work long-term. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If you're with a Western woman, that's not going to work long-term. It'll work for a little while until she fucks someone else or dumps you. Watch, I'll be right. This is by her choice, as she said she doesn't want to be with other men. Is she lying? And, oh, well, your question's a little different than I thought then. Is she lying and waiting until we get married to say she wants to? Okay, here's how it works. It doesn't matter if she's lying or not. Here's how it works. Sweetheart, I'm going to bang other women for the rest of my life until the day I die when I'm 97 years old. Do you understand? Are you cool with that? You don't have to like it, but do you accept it? Yes, I accept it. Okay, now, to be fair, if you want to fuck other men, women, sweetheart, you can. You probably don't because that's not how women are. And she'll say, but I don't want to. Great, you don't want to. But I'm letting you know you can if you want. Because if I say I can, but you can't, goddammit, we're going to argue and I don't want to do that. And she'll say, okay, great, I'm never going to fuck anyone then. Great, that's how you do it. Pink Firefly does not fuck other men. And she has had ample opportunity to do so. And she still won't. Once or twice last years, I've even told her, hey, if you're horny and I'm gone for 3 months, you can, no, I don't, no. Okay. But I didn't say, you're not allowed to fuck other guys. And then as a modern day Western woman, she'll say, excuse me, fuck you. Even if she doesn't want to fuck other guys, that's how women work. Women are not like men. You skipped my question. Then paste it down there, and I better have skipped it. Unless it was, what country do I find submissives independence? I skipped all those because I already answered that. Girls keep flaking on me. That is normal. Women flake. That's part of being a female. Yes? I set the date and don't text them until the day of. That's not good. No, you need to follow up a few times. The day before and then the morning of. What can I do to solve this problem? What I just said. You don't just schedule a woman for next week and then have no contact with her until the day of. Of course she'll flake. Can't do that. I like it when a girl puts a finger up my bum. Am I gay? No, a lot of guys like that. I don't. Men have a thing called a prostate, and some men like that thing stimulated. So you like it? Great. You're not gay. If you're being serious. But the answer is no. I've had guys ask me that question. A lot of guys like that. I don't. A lot of guys are that shit. Do you get your type more from your father or mother's side of the family? Do betas have more mommy issues? So I've written about this. Your type comes from two places. Number one, it comes from your mother. I know it sounds gross, but it does. So you will have wired into you mentally traits of your mom, and you'll be attracted to traits your mom has. Okay? I'm attracted to little tiny women. Guess what? My mom is a little tiny woman. Now, I'm not attracted to women who look like my mom. My mom had dark hair. I don't like dark hair. So not everything. I'm also attracted to really happy women. My mom is really happy and high energy. So there's aspects. That's number one. Second one is I've written articles about this. when you are in the latter stages of puberty for a man, so that means around age 13-ish, that's when your type gets wired in. So the women that you're seeing and have access to when you're about 13, 14, 12 to 14, and if you see a certain type of woman a lot, or it's a contrast to women you're used to see, when you're that age, it goes click and it gets locked in. I've told my story about this. I don't have time to tell it now, but I like short, tiny women with blonde hair, brown eyes, and a big ass. And that was clicked into me with some experiences I had when I was 13, 14. I can give you lots of examples of other men. So that's where your type comes from. If a girl moves to a new city, is it okay to visit her when traveling to a new city? Dude, yes, you should. And visit her? No. Fuck her. Yes. I have FBs. Before I left the United States, I had FBs all over the USA because they moved to other cities. I go to those cities for other reasons, my own reasons. And while I was there, I'd fuck her. It was great. Don't visit her platonically. Don't do friend zone. But yeah. What's your opinion on DNA mapping services? I did answer that question. Watch the replay. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. 9daybizbuilder.com. Your deadline is Monday night. Cool. I'll see you for the Unchained CEO live stream on Monday, 1 p.m. EST. Have fun.